Hello everyone, and we are going to now start with complex numbers again with multiplication and division. The last week we had done addition and subtraction, and the majority of you actually completed your tasks, which is great. What do we already know? We know that complex numbers are a group of two things. It has a real part as well as an imaginary part. So we're going to follow, since our complex numbers have got two terms, we're going to use the FOIL method to multiply them like we would if we were multiplying a binomial. So the first F for the first, outer, inner, and the last one. You know this kind of multiplications, we have done it before. And so let's take an example of this. Now, if you take an example of this one, what you would see here is that you have to remember that simplification takes place because we have to remember that I square is -1. Okay, so we're going to multiply 1 plus 3i and 2 take away 4i. So we're going to use the FOIL method for multiplying them. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times -4i is -4i. 3 times 2 is 6i. And 3 times 4 is 12. I times I is I squared. This is where comes our, sorry, my apologies. It seems like I've gone back to the thing. Okay, this is where we come to our I square, which is -1. We are substituting that as -1, and our final answer would be 14 because this is -1, so that becomes -12, and -1 becomes +12, and that's 14 plus 2i. We're going to take another one here, which is 1 plus 2i, and then 1 minus 2i. Again, using the FOIL method, I have 1 plus 2i, take away 2i, minus 4i squared. Again, I substitute for I square, I substitute -1, and that becomes the plus and the minus. Two minuses together make it +4, so 1 plus 4 gives me 5. Okay, so now we come to the division of complex numbers. Before we actually start the division of complex numbers, what you need to understand is the use of the word conjugate in complex numbers. It's used quite frequently. And what is the meaning of it? Basically, it's nothing but taking the opposite sign between the two terms. So for example, I've got 4 plus 3i. The conjugate of 4 plus 3i is 4 minus 3i. The reverse of it could also be, another example could be, if I take 5 minus 6i, the conjugate of that will be 5 plus 6i. To find the conjugate of a complex number, all you have to do is to change the sign between the two terms. Now, these are the steps that I just outlined so that you know this is what you're going to do when you're going to do a division of a complex number. To divide complex numbers, you must multiply by the conjugate. To find the conjugate, you know, we just spoke about it, that we need to change the sign between the two terms in the denominator. Now, distribute or FOIL in both the numerator and denominator to remove the parenthesis. Simplify in terms of I, remembering that I squared is -1. Combine the like terms just like how you would do in algebra. Now, let's put this in an example. So, we are going to be dividing 3 plus 2i over 4 take away 3i. Now what I need to know here is that what is the conjugate of 4 minus 3i? I just told you that you need to take the opposite sign of this. So 4 minus 3i, the conjugate is 4 plus 3i. So to divide, we're going to multiply the numerator and the denominator of this particular fraction with 4 plus 3i. So look at that. So 4 plus 3i and 4 plus 3i, multiply the numerator and the denominator with that, which means you multiply the top using the FOIL method. 3 times 4, 12. 3 times 3, 9i. 2 times 4, 8i.